False start.
Here with Jason Roy and sparkling the on his slip. To come in next. Back to 5.69 already this year.
Runs straight away behind square, already onside. Simply scampers back for a couple.
See him one or two later in the season.
Good start. Area, of course. So strong through there. Good to see him opening and being given a proper go in this side out.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a flashier batsman than you might imagine. I know he's obviously famed for his 4-day stuff and Test cricket, but he's certainly got all the shots for the one-day game and given him a bit of freedom at the top of the order.
So strong through there. Good to see him opening and being given a proper go in this side out.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a flashier
He started
batsman.
in fabulous form in red ball cricket this year. Dom Sibley.
4-day stuff and Test cricket.
Not just stickability and patience, but a full range as well. He's been especially strong down the ground. Just enjoying expanding his game week by week here and given this opportunity to really stamp his mark at the top of the order. Tickle fine. Long leg will get round, but they'll come back for another couple, and so Sibley already into his work.
Nicely topped around the corner, and I think, as I said, we watching the women's game earlier. I think the first few overs we were looking to find out what a par score is, and I think it'd probably be 180 plus. Getting up maybe towards the 200. But yeah, they look for a strong start. And Dom's tucked those nicely off the first couple of balls. I think, as I said, we watching the women's game earlier. I think the first few overs we were looking to find out what a par score is, and I think it'd probably be 180 plus. Getting up maybe towards the 200.
So tidy start. Chris Wood on the money straight away. Pedigree bowler, of course, in white ball cricket. What a servant he's been for Hampshire over the years. Ollie Pope, it will be. Tidy start. Chris Wood on the money. New role for him. He's away straight away, beautifully cut behind square. Not much gap, but he's found it, and that runs away before from his first delivery.
Lovely start for Ollie, just letting the ball come to him. Just nicely fed through the offside. Wasn't given a great deal of room, but found the gap nicely.
Away straight away, beautifully. You look line up then, Ali, with Pope opening up and Jason Roy in a slightly unfamiliar position, I suppose, to seasoned watchers of Surrey and indeed England to find him at first drop.
Fed through the offside. Given a great deal of room, but found the gap.
Side-ish, just a bit of pad, and so nothing doing. And you look line up there. Would get away with one towards the opening up end of that over. 9 for no loss then, 1 over in. What do you think about the composition of that batting lineup?
Yeah, I mean, look, Jason, they've had him at number 3 for the first couple of games. He's played with a freedom that you felt in the championship side. He wanted to just let the handbrake off, and white balls allowed him to do that. And he's got it quite early in those games as well, so it's not like he's been sitting around for very long. 90 and a 60 at about 150 strike rate is just what the doctor ordered, and it's good to see him back. You felt the championship
certainly is.
He wanted to just let the handbrake off.
Didn't quite click in red ball cricket initially, but
and it's very different game though, isn't it? Red ball cricket, whether you leave it outside off stump, what balls you play, what balls you don't. Whereas one-day cricket, you've got that positive mindset. It's good to see a ball that you might leave in 4-day cricket could go over the ropes.
Didn't quite click in red ball cricket
in the one-day game.
It's going to be James Fuller to get us going from the Vauxhall end.
Leave it outside off stump. What balls you play, what balls you don't. Whereas in one-day cricket, you've got that positive mindset. It's good to see a ball that you might leave in.
So just the one man out on the boundary on the onside at square, and James Fuller field around the corner in the ring on the 45, and a very fine deep third. They are just bringing the changes already here, just to fortify the offsides, bringing another man on the drive here, and so boundary on the onside. Going to try and bowl straight, driven down the ground and timed decently, but not out the screws. But he'll pick up another couple. Just bringing the changes already here, just to James Vince by the offsides, bringing another here, man on the drive here, and so one of the great T20 players, of course. Although he has a slightly driven down the ground and tidy, decently pleasant record in the bat here, especially in red ball cricket. Just bringing hope we see him unfurl some of his style later on this evening.
Skipper here, man on the drive here, and so great T20 players, of course.
The swing, and Sibley mindful of it. This ball will do a bit initially, Alex.
Yeah, it hasn't swung maybe as much as I thought. The first couple of balls were reasonably straight, and I think that was just holding the wicket a fraction. First couple of overs, of course, you're trying to find what a good score is without just trying to get a feel for the wicket. And then overs probably 3, 4, and 5, you started to sort of push the buttons a bit more. But yeah, a good start for Surrey. As much as I thought the first couple of balls were reasonably straight, and I think that was just holding the wicket a fraction. First couple of overs, of course, you're trying to find what a good score is without just trying to get a feel for the wicket.
The judge had one to be slightly too wide of Dom Sibley. It was there to cut. It's lost a tiny bit of shape. We'll have to bowl it again. No cover outside his off stump. Just that tight offside ring. The judge had one to be slightly too wide of Dom Sibley. It was there to cut. It's lost a tiny bit of shape. We'll have to bowl it again. No cover outside. He had to reach for that one as well. That's there to hit. Side ring. James Fuller won't mind seeing that thud into the ground. Still searching for the right line here. Hampshire's new ball bowler.
Just sitting in the wicket just a fraction, I think, a couple of times, whether it was the push from Dom and just held a bit.
For that one as well.
And that one, obviously, James Fuller's a good pace bowler as well. So just to see it sitting gives you a rough idea of the pace.
Searching for the right line here. Hampshire's new ball bowler.
Just sitting in the wicket just a fraction, I think, a couple of times, whether it was the push from Dom and just held a bit.
For that one as well.
Tight lines. He'll be looking in good order as ever through the onside. You can't beat mid-wicket. Yeah, how did you describe it earlier? Opening batters in the first innings of a T20 and an all-white ball cricket. Minesweeper?
Yeah, you're a bit of a minesweeper, just seeing what the pitch is like. You know, first impressions of the pitch is a little bit slow. I mean, that shot from Dom there timed it very nicely, but would just show you it's a little bit slower than average.
There to hit. He's gone airborne and he's gone all the way. First real shot in anger, right out of the screws. Dom Sibley brings up his first 6 of the evening. Surrey with a bit of impetus, 2 overs in, 18 for no loss.
Just to say, an opener is going out there trying to find where they would have played at Glamorgan the other day. Would have been probably a slower wicket, and he comes to the opener, you generally expect a bit more pace. There is pace in this wicket, but it's you can tell by some of the shots it's just holding a bit. That short ball again sat in the pitch a bit. Dom plays that with quite a bit of time in hand, so he's going out there trying to find where they would have played at Glamorgan the other day. Would have been probably a slower wicket, and
James Fuller will be a bit cranky with himself. Didn't find quite his lengths in that over. Hampshire have a real plethora of options in their bowling attack, already ringing the changes. James Fuller will be a bit cranky with himself. So after 2 overs of seam, his lengths in that over. Some left arm orthodox already. Hampshire have a real plethora of options. If you tune in again, their bowling attack. Just in a ringing the changes. In a holding role, really, for Hampshire was Liam Dawson has been, of course, spirited away to the England T20 side, and so he's come in to do a very similar job. Some left arm orthodox already. Have a real plethora of options. If you tune, hope happy just to knock it into the onside for a single and let Dom Sibley take an early look at the left arm spinner. Just on a 3-match contract. The England T20 side, Hampshire come in to do a very similar job. Canny signing. Real experience in T20 cricket. Hope happy just to knock it into the inside for a single and let Dom Sibley take an early look at the left arm spinner. He's picked him out. First shot from Dom Sibley against the left arm spinner, and he perishes. Tries to take him on, and all he can do is pick out the man on the first 45, and he has to go. Frustration because he looked good. Surrey 1 down for 19.
Yeah, looking to work around the corner with the sweep, and wasn't sure whether to keep it down or go aerial. It's found somewhere in the middle and
tries
picked out
to take
45.
him on, and all he can do is pick out the man on the first 45. So first blood to Hampshire. It's to go. good early start for Fortune, who
Surrey, 1 down for 19.
say has real experience in this form of the game. Star for Pile Royals.
It's found somewhere in the middle.
The SA20.
And all he can do is pick out.
Good sign that Hampshire have already made
Hampshire.
accommodations for the absence of Liam Dawson by bringing him in.
Surrey, 1 down for 19.
Struck almost immediately. Jason Roy then, the man in form, new man at the crease.
The SA20.
Shackles are off. White ball cricket is where he really loves to express himself. He's already made his mark in this year's tournament, 92 and 69, 11 sixes already. We're only 2 games in. And he's away immediately, tidily chipped into the onside, and he'll come back for a couple.
Easily tucked off the legs. It's quite clear where Fortune's trying to bowl. The offside of the ground towards the changing rooms is the shorter side, which most players would probably look to target. But Fortune's trying to keep that inside the leg stump, and will probably get clipped through the leg side a few times. No width again, and Jason taking an easy single. But I think most of the runs will be scored on the leg side, judging by the first 4 balls.
So a single from the final delivery, and Fortune will take that all night long. A wicket and just 5 runs conceded inside the power play. So 23 for 1 inside 3 overs. Hampshire doing it well in these early stages.
It's not often that you see spin coming on in the 3rd over, is it? A lot of sides tend to go first up, and as a batter, you're often thinking as you're just trying to look to get off the mark. Thought he bowled very nicely there, 14. It was an impressive line. He's certainly aware of the players looking to get the offside, and I wonder how long it's going to take before we see Ollie Pope look to reverse sweep. Potentially aerially. JC also a player of that. I wouldn't be surprised to see that in the coming overs.
It's going to be John Turner. So changes from both ends. 4 single-figure spells.
Potentially aerially. JC
down the track.
Player of that.
Loses his shape and cloths it into the onside for a single.
It's going to be John Turner. So
Sign of intent though.
changes from both ends.
Good news for Surrey is there hasn't been a great deal of movement from the seamers. I think at both ends it's been fairly up and down, ball holding in the wicket a fraction.
Shape and cloths it into the onside.
An even start, you say, at this stage.
Sign of intent though. Changes from both ends.
Good news for Surrey is there hasn't been a great deal of movement from the seamers. I think at both ends it's been fairly up and down, ball holding in the wicket a fraction. An even start, you say, at this stage.
Sign of intent though.
Driven up to mid-off, but straight to the man, so no run. Dispensed with the slip already. Have a man at a kind of fine gully, if you like. Maybe a 5th slip. On the line of a 5th slip. But not really catching, more try and stop the one.
I think that's more for the way Jason Roy tries to play. He likes to run it down to that 3rd man position.
Yep. Good start this by John Turner. Still just getting going really in his
Roy tries to play, likes to run it
recent
down
Hampshire
to that
career,
3rd
but he's
man
got a lot to offer. England have already had a look at him, of course. He's had some injury problems in recent times. But on his day, when
Turner.
fit and firing, you can see why they are so interested in what he can offer.
Still just
Fast,
going
tall,
really in his
athletic.
Tries to play, likes to run it
recent Hampshire career, but he's got
A longish half volley, and it was pumped hard, but
him, of course.
just to get something on it, and Ollie Pope has to scramble back to avoid the dreaded run out of the non-strikers.
See why they are so interested in
Nice
what he
played for
can
no
offer.
reward. I mean, it's very much wicket to wicket. As I said, I think they would have
Longish
feel
half
the
volley,
wicket is just a touch on the slow side, I would say.
to get something on it, and Ollie Pope has to scramble back to avoid the dreaded
That's exactly
run
where
out of the
Hampshire want to be
non-strikers.
hit straight.
See why they are so interested in
Nice
what he
played for no reward. I mean, it's very much
Take a
wicket to
single this
wicket.
time.
As I said, I think they would have
James Vince set deep on the edge of the circle, and so
to get something on it, and Ollie
very
Pope has to
tidy start.
scramble back to avoid the dreaded
And John Turner get out of this over? 5 deliveries already sent down just for a couple of singles.
Take a single this time.
Ollie Pope advance, as we saw from the first ball of this over. Only faced 6 deliveries so far.
John Turner get out of this over. 5 deliveries already sent down just for a
Can't
couple
get it
of
away.
singles.
Good start this by the visitors.
Ollie Pope advance as we
He's played the one game so far in this year's competition, but it was a statement win against a struggling Essex side. But they are a formidable white ball outfit, perhaps the most consistent white ball side in the country in recent years. Stylishly led, of course, by James Vince. Perennial trophy winner, really, in white ball cricket all around the world. So Chris Wood returns for his second over. James Vince keeping us all guessing here. 5-4 offside field. Nobody on the boundary, though, on the offside. So that is where he'll be looking to bowl on off stump. Roy punches it into the onside, picks up a couple.
Very disciplined start from Hampshire. They've with their fields, they've given absolutely no width. But with the size of the boundary, especially to the old cricketers' side, the gas holder side, there's certainly 2s through mid-wicket every time you look.
Slightly false shot, but nobody there for it. Jason Roy gets away with it. Just maybe sticking in the pitch again, Ali.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's looking at the wicket, and we've seen 4 or 5 times that the ball has held a little bit. Obviously, the bowlers for Hampshire are a little bit quicker than the women earlier. And just some of the balls, just, you know, not a bad pace wicket, but just holding a fraction, which would obviously, that sort of wicket would bring the scores down.
Engineers, something there.
It's held a little bit. Obviously, the bowlers for Hampshire are a little bit
Tidily played as well. Anticipated where this Wood was going to put it and finds a gap. Fine of the man on the 45. And so Jason Roy is away here. First boundary. Engineer.
Shot from a man in form. I think that's the proactive nature that Jason Roy is in at the moment. He's playing with confidence with a couple of big scores already this week. He knows there's only one player behind square, and as long as he misses that player,
Fine of the man
he's going to pick up value.
So Jason Roy is away here. First boundary.
Can't get that one away though.
From a man in form. I think that's the proactive nature that Jason
going at a run ball as it stands. So Hampshire doing it pretty well here.
Behind square, and as long as he misses that player.
The opening power play, just 8 deliveries remaining of it.
That one away though.
These two find a few boundaries. 2-4. Game shifts again. Stifled appeal.
Doing it pretty well here.
Good lines. Opening good unit. Organised. Everyone knows their roles here. Real expectancy as well. Real glamour tie.
Shifts again.
Crowd still flowing in. One or two may have been slightly concerned about the weather, but we are set fair as it stands.
Organised. Everyone knows their roles here.
For a classic.
Real expectancy as well.
Effortlessly knocked into the onside, but bowling to his field well.
Flowing in.
They're basically asking to be hit there, aren't they? If they get away with a single there every time, they'd be very happy with that. There's only a couple of balls that you'd say were a little bit loose in terms of a bit of width, which is probably the only wide ball they've bowled, with Ollie Pope running that down finally to third man, and the short ball to Dom Sibley, which he put away for 6. But I think from that they've bowled pretty full. 0 width, which has been a very disciplined start from Hampshire.
That it has. 32 for 1, then 5 overs in. Edging the early exchanges.
Ball to Dom Sibley, which he put away for 6. But from that they've pretty full. 0 width, which has been a very disciplined start from Hampshire.
That it has. 32.
Turner again.
5 overs in.
Heaved into the onside. Doesn't have to move for that, Jason Roy. Second boundary now in quick succession. Perhaps this is now the over where he's really going to get going. Simmering tally up until now.
Well, he is, but he's a man full of confidence, and he's proactive there. He's thinking if you bowl in my length, then I've only got to clear mid-wicket, and you've got sort of 50 yards between fielders. He's done that very well.
Over. He's really going to get going. Simmering tally up until now.
Well, he is, but he's
In the slot, driven beautifully, one bounce four. Roy starting to enjoy himself.
That's an outstanding shot. We've seen a slightly slower wicket here, and to time that with ease over mid-off, starting to really open up the shoulders now. What I would say when we're talking about minesweeping is like the first two overs, you're now trying to work out what that pass score is. So 5 overs is the general rule of what you're looking to get. And, I don't think 200 is necessary at the pass score, but I think if you look to the 170, 180 is where you want to be. What I would say when we're talking about minesweeping is like
Shorter this time, and Roy is cranky with himself because he felt it was there. Good flow and rhythm now.
not too many times that Jason Roy will miss a short ball, and I think it's more the lack of pace in the wicket. Just as I said, holding. We've seen when Don Sibley pulled that ball, it sat in the wicket, and I think Jason was probably a little bit quicker.
Shorter this time, and Roy is cranky with
another man going out now at deep mid-wicket.
Good flow and rhythm now.
He's tightening the ring on the offside.
I think it's more the lack of pace in the wicket.
Now,
I said holding. We've seen when Don Sibley pulled that ball, it sat in the wicket, and I think Jason was probably a little bit quicker.
bowling to it. Roy rolling his wrists and happily picking up a single. Risk-free single. So a couple of deliveries still to go in this power play.
He's kept that down with ease as well, which gives you an idea of the pace of the wicket.
So Ollie Pope has faced just 7 deliveries. 5.4 overs into this one.
Risk-free,
starved really of the strike.
So a couple of deliveries still to go in this power play.
Tries to make amends and almost bisects the field, but scrambling, a bit of work that cover.
Ollie Pope
Just down to a single. Simply calmed as it stands. Ollie Pope.
Starved
Won't concern him though.
Make amends and almost bisects the field, but scrambling, a bit of work that cover. Down to a single. Calmed as it stands.
Just short on the half volley. So James Fuller can't quite make it at mid-on, and Jason Roy steals a single at the end of the 6, so 43 for 1. Hampshire edging the early stages. Jason Roy 21, Ollie Pope 8 not out.
I'd certainly be happy with this as a start. I think 43 for 1, you might say.
At mid-on, and
चिड़ियाघर तो वही है, बस वहाँ तक जाने का रास्ता आसान हो गया है। पिट्टू के टाइम जाते थे धक्के खाते, अब गुड्डी के साथ तुरंत मेट्रो से।
इस जनरेशन ने घर से निकलते ही रफ्तार देखी है। यही अमृत पीढ़ी हमें ले जाएगी विकसित भारत तक।
चिड़ियाघर तो वही है, बस वहाँ तक जाने का रास्ता आसान हो गया है। पिट्टू के टाइम जाते थे धक्के खाते, अब गुड्डी के साथ तुरंत मेट्रो से।
इस जनरेशन ने घर से निकलते ही रफ्तार देखी है। यही अमृत पीढ़ी हमें ले जाएगी विकसित भारत तक।
We have, Ali, nearly 40,000 people currently watching the stream. So welcome all the people tuning in potentially for the first time on the SUR YouTube channel.
इस जनरेशन ने घर से निकलते ही रफ्तार
It's a shot that he played in that famous 196 at Hyderabad, head down. We have, Ali, and we're sweeping the ball directly over his head.
We had Dilshan was here for a few years, and that was very much how he used to play. But Ollie's very good with the sweeps and first sweeps.
Pope played a blast game, against Sussex back in 2019, and Rashid Khan was in the Sussex team. And Pope played a sweep shot where instead of putting his left foot, he put his right foot forward. He said it was a shot played purely on instinct against Rashid Khan.
Joe Root did a similar thing this week, didn't he? And Rashid Khan, of course, is almost a player that you play as a seamer. you'd almost play him as an in-swing bowler. I think he's obviously a quick leggy, but he's very different to some of the spinners that we might see here today. And I know back in the day when I was Graham Hick would talk to me about Anil Kumble and in a similar fashion, say how treat him as an in-swing bowler, not a leg spinner, because that's where most of his balls almost play him as an in-swing bowler. I think he's obviously a quick leggy, but he's very different to some of the spinners that we might see here.
Very tidy start this from 410. 1 for 9 from his first 11 deliveries. This is his first ever game playing in an overseas franchise tournament. T20 record for 410, 166 wickets to 21, career economy rate of 6.57 runs and over. We've got another change in the commentary box. Phil's back.
I am. Can't stay away. Yeah, our eminent producer has his own interpretation of our rota. So I'm back with you for a time, yes.
166 wickets to 21.
Have fun.
Career economy rate of 6.57.
Hampshire doing this well up until now. Been impressive.
Phil's back.
I am. Can't stay away.
Sighting of Scott Curry today, 24-year-old Scotland international.
Of our rota.
Brilliant season.
So I'm back with you for a time, yes.
But away from Hampshire on loan at Leicestershire, 20 wickets to 18.
Hampshire doing this well up until now. Been impressive.
Phil's back.
I am. Can't stay away.
Sighting of Scott Curry start today. Pope starved and strike somewhat. Only in the batting, went to the 8th over of the day. He's only faced 10 deliveries. Saw something similar in the IPL final earlier in the week. Virat Kohli starved with a strike for much of his innings. Steady start. Driven behind square in the offside. Think about 2. Deep extra cover is around quickly, gets it into the keeper quickly, so restricts back to 1.
Yeah, new role for him this year and not clicked just yet. Would have been slightly frustrated, I suppose, to be starved off that strike, to face just 9 deliveries inside the first 36.
I imagine for a middle order player who's new to opening in T20 and getting your eye in is very different, because when you come in,
would have been slightly frustrated, I suppose, to be starved off that strike, to face just 9 deliveries inside the first
2 or 3,
first 36.
Get into your innings that way. But in the power play with the fielders all around you, you can't really do that. There aren't that many easy singles available to you. New to opening in T20 and getting your eye in is very different, because when you come in looking to pinch a strike again, good little spell this from Hampshire. 5 runs off the previous over, 3 off the 4. First 4 deliveries in this one from Curry.
Yeah, they're just a very, very well-drilled cricket team. Very organised. Everyone knows exactly what roles are required of them, and Vince oversees it with absolute ease and control.
Pope looks to give himself a bit of room, a bit of extra bounce. Good carry from Curry.
Cricket team. Tidy pace as well. Very organised. Everyone knows exactly 82 and a bit required of them, and Vince oversees it. Seen good carry here in South London all year. Control. They're beautiful cricket pitches that are prepared here. They reward good cricket. That was real good carry. Zip off the surface.
Extra bounce. Good carry.
Still a bit of moisture around. Tidy pace as well. 82 and a bit.
Heel given. Pope looking to lap the ball over short fine leg. In the end, he just feathers it through
cricket pitches that are prepared here
to the keeper, and Curry strikes at the end of a very impressive first over.
Still a bit of moisture around. Yeah, frustrating for Ollie Pope. It's been one of those nights. Unable to find any rhythm, unable to get much flow into his game due to truncated strike. And in truth, a third failure for him now in a row, opening the batting in this new role. The thinking was fine, the execution not quite there. And Scott Curry has come right into this side and bowled with good pace in that first over. Each of Hampshire's bowlers have come straight into their spells. There's been no gimme deliveries, no finding their way. It's a well-oiled machine, this. The execution not quite there.
Yeah,
Scott Curry
delivery
right into
before
the side.
Pope dismissal, we saw how good the carry was, and again, really just bounced, maybe hurried
straight
a little
into their
bit.
spells.
Seen
There's been
extremely unorthodox
no
position,
gimme
trying to lap the
deliveries,
ball over short
finding
fine
their
leg.
way.
Perhaps slightly unfortunate to get a feather.
Yeah, delivery
Tend to connect or see it sail past.
again.
He knew, though, he didn't want to turn and see the umpire.
Straight into their spells.
No question about the decision. Sam Curran joins us at 4. New skipper. Perhaps slightly
James ringing in the changes. Benny Howlin.
unfortunate to get a feather. Tend to connect or see it sail past.
All-rounder.
He knew, though, he didn't want to turn and see the umpire.
Game of professional T20 cricket.
No question
For Howell.
about the decision.
One
Sam
thing
about how many deliveries he's got, right? New skipper.
Sam Curran, of course, new man batting in 4 in his first full year. Surrey T20 skipper. Brilliant year as a batsman across all forms of the game. Game of the week here against Essex in the Championship. Impressed with 271 scores.
About how many deliveries he's got, right?
He's established himself as more of a number 4 or 5 in white ball cricket across the world. Surrey T20 skipper. Brilliant year as a batsman.
Yeah, I like him in at 4.
Across all forms of the game.
I think he can control the tempo of an innings much more.
He
has more breadth, more options. He's also a brilliant middle order player against the turning ball. He's one of the cleanest hitters in English cricket against the slowies. So I think it's a good position for him to develop his game from here, become the main man. Much more. He has more breadth.
Watching how live, it's amazing how short his run-up is.
He's also a brilliant middle order player against the turning ball.
He's not a spinner, although he
in English
bowls,
cricket
as Phil
against the
said.
slowies.
He's got loads of variations, loads of cutters.
Position for him to develop his
Coming
game
in
from
from
here, become the main man.
Little more than 10 yards.
Has more breadth.
Watching how live, it's amazing how short his run-up is.
He's also a brilliant player against the turning ball. Yeah, it's magnificent to watch and slightly baffling as well to certain observers, Saturday afternoon cricketers thinking, well, I could manage that. But the numbers are there. There's something magic about what he does.
And even there, just changing the angle, going from over to around.
Yeah, it's magnificent
It's
to
very
watch.
good over this.
Slightly baffling as well to
For Hampshire.
certain observers, Saturday afternoon cricketers thinking, well, I could manage that.
Rather 4 from
But the
5.
numbers are there. There's something magic about what he does.
And even there, just changing the angle, going from over to around.
Yeah, it's magnificent.
It's very good over this.
Slightly baffling as well to
For Hampshire.
certain observers, Saturday afternoon cricketers thinking, well, I could manage that.
Rather 4 from 5. That'll be another single. So 5 runs from Howell's first over. Surrey 56 for 2. Just a general point of thing about Hampshire. You mentioned Curry's pace, bowling at 82 to 85 mph in his previous over. Hampshire have a really quite impressive cohort of young quicks on their roster at the moment. We saw Eddie Jack make his first class debut for England Lions against India A this week. John Turner, who's in action tonight, who's played for England over the winter. Sonny Baker, again, someone who England are interested in. To 85 mph in his previous over. Hampshire have a really quite
Yeah, they do it well, Hampshire do.
young quicks.
They have real depth. They've got an excellent youth policy. They develop their own as well. And they're just a very well organised setup, even just bringing Fortain into the side for Liam Dawson on this short-term contract.
Ball goes down the ground.
Yeah, they do it
Picks
well,
up.
Hampshire do.
A
They have real
well-needed boundary
depth.
for Surrey. Been a while
Excellent
since they
youth
last
policy.
found the rope.
They develop
And
their
Roy
own as well.
Moves
And they're
into
just a very well
his
organised
30s,
setup, even just
33,
bringing Fortain into the side for
27
Liam
deliveries.
Dawson on this short-term contract.
his 4th boundary of the evening. Mid-off up,
down the ground.
and Roy took him on in the first ball.
Yeah, and as we approach the halfway point here,
Sorry, been a while since
Jason
they
Roy
last found the rope.
recognising he needs to make a play or two.
Moves into
Hampshire have had Surrey exactly where they want them
27 deliveries.
up until now.
His 4th boundary of the evening.
It's not necessarily, as Ali says, a 200 pitch, but yeah, as we approach the halfway point here, these two are going to have to find another gear here, you fancy.
Yeah, we play on the same
Surrey
strip
exactly where they want
the
them
ODI here on Tuesday.
up until now.
Boundary of the evening.
It's not necessarily, as Ali says, a 200 pitch, but still here. These two are going to have to find another gear here, you fancy.
Similar field for left-handed colours. Mid off in the ring, cover in the ring too.
Until now.
Goes short, current on the pull, doesn't quite get hold of it, but picks up a single.
These two are going to have to find another gear here. Yeah, it's an interesting option by Fuller to bang it in without a man at deep mid-wicket, but if you can get the line right, then it brings long on into play. It's a gamble, though, against Sam Curran, who's such an amazing puller and hooker.
A lot of protection on that leg side boundary.
Yeah, it's an interesting option by Fuller to bang it in without a man at deep
Roy looks to give himself room, but he's followed by
right,
Fuller, but followed too far.
Long on
it's wide.
into play.
You can see what Roy was doing, though,
against Sam
with that protection on the leg side boundary. A lot of protection on that leg side boundary. Boundary scoring options on the offside. If you can get past or over to give Vincent cover, he's followed by Fuller, but followed Charles. But Fuller's bowling straight here. Roy trying to give himself room to access the offside. With that protection on the leg side boundary, stays still this time and pulls hard, but is well fielded by deep backward square leg. Over Vincent cover.
Yeah, they have their plans and they stick to them. It's very hard to shake the shackles here.
Stays still this time and pulls hard.
Still, they have a hefty middle order to come. Tom Curran, Laurie Evans, Ollie Sykes, Mitchell Santner in for his first game. Their plans, they stick to them. It's very hard to shake the shackles here.
Fuller looking to cramp Curran for room.
Still, they have a hefty middle order to come. Tom Curran, Laurie Evans,
covered okay here, Fuller.
Ollie
First
Sykes,
ball of the over went
Mitchell
for
Santner,
four. Just
for his
four
first game.
from the last four legal deliveries. 8 off the over so far.
Hard to shake the shackles here.
Fuller looking to cramp Curran for room. One ball before the halfway point.
They have a hefty middle order to come. Tom Curran, Laurie Evans,
Covered okay here, Fuller.
Ollie
First ball of the over went
Mitchell
for four.
Santner,
Just
for his
four
first game.
Good finish to the over for Fuller. 8 runs off it in the end. Surrey 64 for 2 at the halfway point.
Definite pace and carry, though, in this track. Evident at the halfway point of this innings. Hampshire's seamers have got real purchase off this surface. And the likes of Jordan, Nathan Smith in particular, Dan Worrell as well, will be watching this with interest and recognising that there's a lot in it for the seamers. Evident at the halfway point of this innings.
Change of ends for Curry.
Hampshire's seamers have got real purchase off this surface.
Really well. 1 for 3.
And the likes of Jordan, Nathan Smith in particular,
that wicket being
Dan Worrell as well, will be watching this with interest and recognising that there's a lot in it for the seamers. Evident at the halfway point of this innings.
Looking to access the leg side. Curry doesn't quite get hold of it.
Have got real purchase off this surface.
Really well.
Definitely looking to make a play. Smith in particular, Dan Worrell as well, will be watching this with interest and recognising that there's a lot in it for the seamers. Evident at the halfway point of this innings.
Looking to access the leg side. Curry doesn't quite get hold of it. Driven hard but straight to the man. I think one thing that's different about English T20 cricket to short form cricket elsewhere in the world is the pace that the game's played at. We're only 39 minutes into the game and yet we're in the 11th over. And I think that's part of why I actually really enjoy watching the blast, really enjoy watching the 100, because it zips by and the game retains its intensity. But I think that also presents a challenge for the players and the bowlers in particular. You've got to be really on it from a plan's point of view, because you don't have that much time. You're penalised if you're behind the rate. And I think that's part of why I actually really enjoy watching the blast, really enjoy watching the 100. And just watching Hampshire go about their business so far today. Lots of bowling changes, but every time at the start of the overs, you can tell that the bowler is really clear on what their plan is, and they bowled really well to their field so far, especially since the power play today.
And the impact is significant on the batters as well, because they don't have much time to take a breath, consider their options. Hampshire are coming at them all the time. You see it especially with the left arm spinner as well, who rushes through his overs deliberately. The quicker he can get through them, the better from Hampshire's perspective. So you never really feel like the pressure is relinquished.
Significant on the batters as well, because they don't have much time to take a breath,
Current pitches,
consider their
single.
options. Hampshire are coming at
done
them
well
all
to
the time.
keep
You see it
current
especially with the
quiet
left arm
so
spinner as
far.
well, who rushes through his
So
overs
he's getting
deliberately.
4
The
of 8.
quicker he can get through them, the better from Hampshire's perspective.
And Roy, who
You never
started
really feel like the
fluently.
pressure is relinquished.
going well,
Significant on the batters as
but
well.
hasn't
They
quite
don't have much time to
exploded in the
take
way
a
that
breath.
we've seen from Roy in years gone by. By the way, earlier today, he passed 4,000 T20 rugby shots for Surrey. So he's getting 4 of 8.
He can get through them, the better from
Going to run hard here.
Roy, who started
Again, just another single.
going well, but hasn't quite
Excellent lines. We saw a couple of hit-me balls from Jamie Fuller earlier in the piece, but aside from that, Hampshire's lines have been immaculate, really. So there's not much that you can do. You can't play safe attacking shots.
Just another single.
You have to try and engineer something.
Excellent lines.
Because their lines are so accurate.
Balls from Jamie Fuller earlier in the piece, but aside from that, Hampshire's lines have been
point
another
back
very,
again.
very good over from Curry. Just 3 runs from it. Surrey 67
play
for
safe
2 after
attacking
11.
shots.
And also their length field. There's been barely anything
engineer
full
something.
since the power play.
Yeah, and we've seen this with Hampshire here before, actually. We did a game 3 years ago, one of John Fuller's first ever games, and explores the middle of the pitch as a matter of course. And I think with that extra pace that you tend to get here in South London, there's value in it. It's a big playing arena here as well.
Here before, actually.
And so
We did a game
you've got
3
something
years
about
ago.
you as a seamer, then you fancy your chances.
Really
the middle
testing
of
my
the
memory
pitch
there.
as a
They'll
matter
ask
of
me about
course.
the James Fuller
And
spell
I think
for the
with that
game 3
extra
years
pace
ago.
that you tend to get here in South London, there's value
They always
in
come
it.
and perform here. It's a big white ball
playing
cricket.
arena
Less so
here
in
as
red
well.
ball, in fairness. It's a bit of a bogey ground for Hampshire with red ball
Something
cricket.
about you as a seamer, then you fancy your
Turner
chances.
back into the attack from the Vauxhall end. Really testing my memory there. They'll ask me about the James Fuller spell. Roy goes aerial, but doesn't quite get all of it. And Turner strikes. Roy gone for 37.
Less so in red ball, in fairness. It's a bit of a bogey ground for Hampshire.
It's a wicket that's been brought by a sustained spell of pressure from the Hampshire attack. It kept the Surrey batters quiet. At the start of the 12th over, Hampshire have their 3rd wicket with just 67 runs on the board. Roy gone for 37.
Yeah, it's been an excellent performance. All round, every bowler's been on the mark.
Wicket that's been brought by a sustained spell of pressure from the Hampshire attack. It kept the Surrey batters quiet. At the start of the 12th over, Hampshire have their 3rd wicket with just 67 runs on the board.
It's been an excellent performance. All round, every bowler's been on the mark.
ये वाला दिखाना गया तेरा प्राइस मनी। कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कर लेती, आते समय कर लिया मोबाइल से। कहाँ? गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में। हाँ, RBI रिटेल डायरेक्ट मोबाइल ऐप है ना। रिटेल डायरेक्ट स्कीम द्वारा इन्वेस्टमेंट यानी मैच्योरिटी पे गारंटीड रिटर्न्स, नो ब्रोकरेज, नो हिडन फीस। मान गए? वाला दिखाना आपको नहीं, ऐप को। कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कर लेती, RBI कहता है
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में। हाँ, RBI रिटेल डायरेक्ट मोबाइल ऐप है ना। रिटेल डायरेक्ट स्कीम द्वारा इन्वेस्टमेंट यानी मैच्योरिटी पे गारंटीड रिटर्न्स, नो ब्रोकरेज, नो हिडन फीस। मान गए? वाला दिखाना आपको नहीं,
Someone who England really likes. 7
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में।
finally made his debut.
RBI
Back
रिटेल
toward the
डायरेक्ट मोबाइल
Caribbean.
ऐप है ना। रिटेल डायरेक्ट स्कीम द्वारा इन्वेस्टमेंट यानी मैच्योरिटी पे गारंटीड रिटर्न्स, नो ब्रोकरेज, नो हिडन फीस। मान गए? वाला दिखाना आपको नहीं,
High square.
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज
On our speed gun, Turner's been operating around 85 mph. We've seen a lot of high caliber international quality seamers on show here at the Keir Oval this summer in the championship, and not many bowlers have been bowling north of 85 consistently. The one who has, Jamie Overton, recipient of an England Test call-up this morning.
Yeah, good to see.
Around 85 MPH. Dug in short from Turner. International quality team has managed to get us off strike this summer in the championship. Not many bowlers.
It's a pacey attack. Scott Curry's got a bit of nip. James Fuller can bowl a heavy ball. Chris Wood is more on the medium side of medium fast, but immense experience, of course. And John Turner is a quick, as Yaz says, with international aspirations. You can see why. He looks like a real natural athlete, natural fast bowler. Pacey attack. Scott Curry's got a bit of nip. James Fuller can bowl a heavy ball. Chris Wood is more on the medium side of medium fast, but immense experience, of course. And John Turner is a
into
quick,
the leg side,
as
in the
says,
gap,
international
and he
aspirations.
races away for four. Curran's first boundary. Welcome boundary for Surrey. They'll be hoping that that's the shot that gets Curran going.
Yeah, it's really well timed, because again, nothing wrong with the delivery. Bowling to his field, if anything. But Curran mindful of it.
And he races away for four.
Crunches it through the onside.
Welcome boundary for Surrey.
First boundary to Sam Curran, and one of very few across the course of this innings. Surrey have been shackled so far. Yeah, it's really well timed, because again, nothing wrong with the delivery. Bowling to his field, if anything.
Just be a single. 8 runs from Turner's third over. Surrey 75 for 3 after 12. I think we've got change in the commentary box. Ali Brown is going to come and join Phil Walker for the final 8 overs over Hampshire. Over Surrey so far.
Win a cruise with Ambassador. Balcony cabin for 2 on a 7-night Scandinavian springtime delights. Scan that QR code, folks, and enter in. That one runs out at the end of August, but get it done as soon as possible. One hell of a prize. Win a cruise with Ambassador. Balcony cabin for 2. Also courtesy of Ambassador Cruise Line. Surrey supporters can claim a 5% discount on all no-fly sailings when using the discount SC5. Thanks to our friends at Ambassador Cruises. Benny Howard it is. Another floater onto the toes, bowling to his field. Sam Curran scampers back for a couple. Surrey supporters can claim a 5%. So as we move into the last third of this nip and tuck kind of innings, Ali Brown, where do you see it so far?
Well, I think Hampshire are marginally ahead, but there's not a lot in it. I think one thing we haven't touched on is the size of the ground. So we talked about the wicket being a little bit slower than normal, but especially towards the gas holder side of the ground is probably 10 yards bigger than you might sometimes get. And of course, that brings the scores down. The thing I would say that when you have those bigger grounds, bigger sides of the grounds, that's when you're looking for your gaps, generally at mid-wicket for your 2s. And if you pick up 6 of those, you get 12 and over. So it's not all about just smashing into the crowd. Kia haven't actually given away £1,000 yet, and unlikely to at the moment. But yeah, there's 2 at mid-wicket if you can just get it onto the circle. The thing I would say that when you have those bigger grounds, bigger sides of the grounds, that's when you're looking for your gaps, generally at mid-wicket.
Another well-judged couple into the onside. So Sam Curran edging along here. Just the one boundary four from him.
Unlikely to at the moment, but that's the perfect thing we're talking about. You just get 2 every time you hit that circle at mid-wicket. You can get 2 every time. If you clip it a little bit too hard, you'll get 1. If you're going for the big shot, you'll either get a boundary or possibly 1
to the onside. So
that area in there is where they want to be knocking
along
it
here
as often as possible.
Just the one boundary four from him. Comfortable, just with a single this time. So Sam Curran moves on to 14, bringing Laurie Evans to strike, just getting going. Laurie Evans, and just half a dozen boundary 4s and that one early 6 by Dom Sibley off the hip. But aside from that, it's been a quiet time of it, just with a single this time. So Sam Curran moves on to 14. They defended 149 a couple of days back at Cardiff against Glamorgan. They won that one by 7 runs. Big win for Surrey. Early 6 by Dom Sibley off the hip. Significant result for them, having gone down in their first game against Somerset, and so they will be mindful that a score on the doors here of around 150, perhaps 70 from the last 7 against Glamorgan, will be competitive, different situation, of course, different conditions. But it feels like one of those nights with the weather in quite heavy. They will be mindful that the pitch slightly too paced here, around.
It is a little bit too paced, but as I said, you can see with the way the game's gone thus far, 150 to 160 is a defendable total, and I think what Hampshire have done incredibly well is just bowl good channels. They bowl good lengths, and of course with the size of the ground, we saw Jason Roy getting caught deep in the wicket. Now there are grounds where that might have gone for six, and that pace, a little bit of slowness in the wicket. It's going to mean that if we were about the 155, 160 mark, that is defendable. What Hampshire have done incredibly well is just bowl
Anyhow, does what he does, drops it on a sixpence and picks up, gets through another over with no damage at all. He will take that all night long. So Hampshire continue to turn the screw here. Anyhow, does what he does, drops it on a sixpence and picks up through another over with no damage at all. Take that night. Crowd getting into this one. It's a chilly night here in South London. Most of our punters are aware of that. Buttoned up. It's not quite the balmy early June evening we've become accustomed to. The weather around South London's been beautiful for the last couple of months. A bit of rubbish around in the last few days, but we're fine for now. Hopefully we get a full game in. Aware of that. Buttoned up. It's not quite the balmy early June evening we've become accustomed to. Fuller then into his third over, bowling again to his field. The lines that these seamers have produced have been bang on. We're fine for now. Hopefully we get a full game in.
To sort of press the accelerator in the next over or two. I think if you leave it another 2 or 3 overs, you've got seven wickets left in the bin. I think the odd boundary and hard run too. You need to be pressing at 10 over from
yeah, Tom Curran carded to come in next. Ollie Sykes, good young hitter, come up through the ranks.
Over or two. I think if you leave it another 2 or 3 overs,
and then a very useful, explosive tail, really. Chris Jordan, Mitchell Santner, Nathan Smith, and Dan Worrell even can throw the long handle if needs be. And so there are runs throughout this 11. 7 wickets in hand through the ranks. So one would feel like now would be the time, but it's easier said than done against this attack.
If you try and go right at the end, the size of the boundaries, you can get Dan Worrell even deep, and that can slow the run rate down further.
So there are runs throughout this 11.
It's staying aggressive throughout all these overs. There's plenty of wickets in hand. It's not as if they're 5 wickets down, so there's plenty to be cheery about. And I think if Surrey can put together 20 in the next couple of overs, I think they won't be in a bad position. I think we shouldn't always look at the oval as being a 180 track. I've seen quicker wickets than this. There has been a bit of rain around over the last day or two. I don't think they're in a bad place at the moment. But I think a few boundaries will ease the pressure.
In the slot, but again, there is cover. Long off.
They're very good with their fields, aren't they?
Yep.
And they certainly bowl to them. I don't think they're in a bad place at the moment. I think a few boundaries on what is fundamentally a large surface area.
Yeah, it's a good point about the playing area. It definitely feels as maxed out as possible, and sometimes you don't get that.
Yeah, even straight. This is perhaps a bit longer than
in the slot, clubbed up to long on, but again, bowling to his field time after time. Yeah, it's a good point about the playing area. So he feels one delivery to go for 14. Sometimes you don't 5 singles. Sammy Curran make a play here. In the slot, clubbed up to long on, but again, bowling to his field time after time. It's a good point about the playing area. So he feels one delivery to go for 14. 5 singles. and a miss then, and so another one ticks by. 14 gone, 88 for 3.
I flex my body and my possibilities. Enema Body Sync. Innovations that sync with you.
Watch award-winning originals and exclusive content.
I
Enjoy
flex my
300
body.
plus live TV channels including
And
news,
my
sports,
possibilities.
entertainment and more. Plus, get subscription of 24 popular OTT apps in one place. जो भी देखना चाहो, watcho पे आओ. Dish TV
Enema
Watcho,
Body Sync.
entertainment का super app.
Innovations that sync with you.
Watch award-winning originals and exclusive content.
I
Enjoy
flex my
300
body.
plus live
Too
TV
much of it, and so just another single
My
into the onside.
entertainment and more. Plus, get subscription of
Good
24
pace.
popular OTT apps
Discipline
in
as
one
well.
place. जो भी देखना चाहो, watcho पे आओ. Dish TV Watcho, entertainment का super app.
Innovations that sync with you.
So if you're Sam Curran here, Ali,
Originals and exclusive
what do you
content.
reckon?
I flex my body.
Part of me thinks they're doing the man is probably the first stop, which is quite it's sort of 10 yards behind square, which is probably an area where Sam would want to target.
देखना चाहो, watcho पे आओ. Dish TV Watcho, entertainment का super app.
As you look around the square, you can probably go a little bit outside off stump and try and work the 45 as long as you get anything behind the square there, because they do have that man who's a bit further behind than normal, which is probably an area where Sam wanted to target. Because again, it's trying not to negate twos. There are plenty of twos out there if they can just find the gap. As you look around the square, you can probably go a little bit outside off stump and try and work the
Tries to find that gap, but only pick out the man behind square. And so just a single, just signs with Sammy Curran that he's getting just a bit frustrated. Lost his shape on a couple in recent overs. Just can't quite shake it yet. Can't find that rhythm and flow. It's out there for him to find that gap. But
point of the game, you are looking for the boundaries, trying to eye the boundaries. Sometimes in doing so, you do tend to overhit.
With Sammy Curran that he's getting just a point. In fact, right there, Laurie Evans looking around to wonder if that might have been beyond his reach, but umpires say there's nothing wrong with it. Again, good pace. Really impressive, this. Curry Scotland International, of course. 24 years old. Brought up through the Hampshire system, one of many. Looking around to wonder if that might have been beyond. Tries to create something, and again, doesn't come off. Pace. Really between body and off stump. You can sense it in the crowd. There's a hesitancy around the place here, waiting for something to give.
The area to target is behind square on the offside. If you can create some room, that point anything area, you're going to get four. The man on the sweep is 10 yards square of that, so just get inside the ball.
Sense it in the crowd. Another slower ball. Hesitancy around and another single. Here. Waiting for something. The strangle is on here. So, 3/4 of this innings gone. 91 for 3. Fascinatingly poised, this. As Ali Brown rightly says, this isn't necessarily a 200 pitch. Is it a 150 pitch?
I think it is a 150 pitch, but can they get to 150? I think
3/4 of this
I think if Surrey settled for 140, I think that would be a defendable score. We've seen from that. And it's a case of, with wickets as well, you can have a big squeeze. So when Surrey bowl, it's easy to say that Hampshire could come out and play lots of shots, but if they do, and especially with the size of the outfield, and getting a few catches there, that could squeeze the game as well. So, I wouldn't be worried if Surrey walked off away with 140 here. I think the way that the game has panned out hasn't always come onto the wicket, and Hampshire have been very distant. Easy to say that Surrey are equally strong in the bowling department, especially with the size of the outfield.
Much needed boundary, not where he intended, but he will not mind one iota. Laurie Evans frees himself up at just a touch. John Turner banging it in, but just wide enough for Laurie Evans to free the arms. Is that the catalyst, perhaps? John Turner into his final over here. Not where he intended, but he will not mind one iota. Laurie Evans
well patrolled, isn't it? The leg side boundary, if they do go short. You've got to get all of it on the
banging it in, but just wide enough for Laurie Evans to free the arms. High on the bat, deep square, just shy. John Turner into his final over here. Not where he intended, but he will not mind one iota. Laurie Evans well frees himself side boundary.
If they do go short, you'll be worried for a moment. You'll have just died in time. As I said, it's a decent hit out there. And I think Hampshire know that. That's the area they're targeting.
Deep square, just shy. John Turner into his final over here. So you're going to have to bear with us, folks. There's a glitch in the system. There we go. We're back on. We're back on.
You'll be worried for a moment. You'll have just died.
I was caught in a time warp for a moment. We are here in the here and now. Surrey have got some work to do. 96 for 3 as we approach the final quarter. So you're going to have to bear with us, folks. There's a glitch in the slot. There 4. We're back on. We're back on. Sam Curran's not going to miss out there.
Welcome boundary and one of the looser balls that Hampshire have bowled. Pulling on the pads.
Surrey
and a welcome boundary.
96 that it is. And so just a bit of momentum now. A couple of boundary 4s in this John Turner's final over. 3 deliveries left of his spell. 1 for 30, his figures as it stands. Curran's not going to miss out there. Can these two win these final 3 deliveries and just get a bit of a push into the last 4? That it is. And so just a bit of momentum now. A couple of boundary 4s in this John Turner's final over. 3 in the slot. Sam Curran says, yeah, that'll do. 20 yards back onto the concourse here at the Kia Oval. Effortless, beautiful, imperious by the skipper. And maybe now, Ali Brown, he's ready to go.
Well, that was a great shot. Well timed. Unfortunately, Kia won't be giving away £1,000 for that, but it was a very well timed shot. Held his position well and very good over Surrey.
Beautiful. Yeah, right down the steps to the through the walkway that was. They're still trying to find the ball. Ali Brown, he's ready to go. A few punters are looking to help out.
Well timed. Unfortunately, Kia won't be giving away £1,000.
Sam Curran's so good, he's even got the sponsors back. We're still trying to locate this.
It did go through. It did go down the steps.
Yeah, went right down the steps. You can picture here at the Kia Oval. Packed crowd at straightish mid-wicket, long on. They're still trying to find that ball. Sam Curran's so good, he's even got the sponsors back. They're all having a look. Still trying to locate this.
It did go through. It did go down the steps.
Yeah, went right down the steps. You can picture. So we are going to try and find. Here we go. Well played, sir. And he gives it a kiss. They're still trying to find that ball. Nicely done. That'll make his night. They're all having a look. And so we are back on with the original ball. Here we go. Well played, sir. And he gives it a kiss. So, Surrey winning this over. 2 deliveries to go. And so, we are back on with the original ball. Here we go. Well played, sir. John Turner in again. Curran. That's 2 in 2. Surrey winning this over. 2. That's a monster. Did he take it, Ali Brown?
He certainly didn't take it in 1. He built it.
Oh, penny for that boy's thoughts. There's a grand in those butterfingers. John Turner in again. What a shot. Long boundary. And it clears it with plenty to spare.
Only a grand.
That's a monster. His lordship speaks. Did he take it, Ali Brown? So, 16, 7 to 21 from 5. This is the over that Surrey were desperately looking for. The momentum and the impetus now is with the batting side, and Sam Curran is away. 34 for 23. Can John Turner scamper out this over in the slot? Sliced. James Vince is under it, and Curran has already turned and walked. 21 from 5. This is the over that Surrey were desperately. Well, an anti-climax at the end of a dominant over. Sammy Curran has to go, and he is furious with himself. It was there to hit.
In the slot.
Well, he's furious because he's timed the previous two brilliantly, and he's looking to play that captain's knock. It's really going to take him to a very good score. It's been a brilliant over. 21 off the over, and
Sammy Curran has to
I still think
and he is
more than a par score is definitely possible. They've got plenty of wickets in hand, and I think shown. Well, he's furious. Just with positive cricket where we can be. But they bowled length there, and that's the sort of length that can go. So they bowled very well. That was probably one of the looser overs of the evening. But brilliantly put away by Sam Curran, and he'll be livid to have gone. But it's a good knock from the captain.
So his brother, Big Tom, joins us here. Surrey just 4 down, so they can go right from the off. Laurie Evans, 15 from 14, not quite got going yet. He will be the man on strike. Looks like the left arm spin of 14 is going to be brought back into the attack. Another smart move by James Vince. He's the puppet master of this team.
Sorry, just 4 down, so they can go.
What batsman had
right from the off. Laurie Evans.
How many did you use?
Gone up in my day. I mean, I had 4, but I didn't really take 2.
Oh, they were hard times.
Looks like the left arm spin
They
of
built the
14
last
is
of
going to be
those days.
brought back into the attack. Another smart move by James Vince. He's the puppet master of this team. Sorry, just 4 down, so they can go.
So, maybe the change of bat bring about a change of rhythm for Laurie Evans. Surrey needed to go.
Yeah, the reverse swing is on. I mean, we've seen 14 look to target that leg stump and really cramp the room. But,
2 men behind square on the offside and 1 on the conventional 45 on the leg. So, one of them's in the business. Oh, in fact, dives over it, so that will run away for a couple. First bit of untidy work in the outfield all night long.
I mean, we've seen 14 look to target that leg stump and really cramp the room. But,
2 men behind square on the offside and 1 on James Fuller's had a good night on the leg. You won't want to see that one back. Nonetheless, just a couple. Laurie Evans
dives over it, so
back on strike.
First bit of untidy work.
Tossed up this time.
All night long.
Laurie Evans can just pick out the man at mid-wicket, so just a single.
yeah, so 22 balls left. If you look at 137 and then put probably another 10 on it. 147 would be a very realistic target, I think. Potentially even 140.
Strike. First bit of untidy work.
Tossed up this time.
All night long.
Tries to give himself room.
Just pick out the man at mid-wicket.
Curran, but loses his shape. Dot
So
ball.
22 balls well here, hasn't he? Because that 3-7 and then deep mid off is another 10 on it. Is a very achievable area. It's probably the shortest area of the ground to find the boundary. Hitting it well.
Runs hard. Tries to give himself room. Curran was up for it, but Laurie Evans would have been running back to the non-strikers and was not sure that he could back himself. Excellent third over by 14. Well, 2 overs as well up front with the field up. An excellent first outing.
Runs hard.
South African left armour.
Curran was up for it.
Take that as well. Brilliant stuff.
Back to the non-strikers and was
Frustration for Surrey that the left-hander Sam Curran isn't there to try and exploit the left arm spin.
Well, 2 overs as well up front. Field up. An excellent.
Goes hard this time and gets enough of it. That goes for a much-needed sixer. So Laurie Evans breaks the shackles. Huge final delivery in the context of this business end. It wasn't necessarily there, but he stayed in the shot, got enough of it. Very fine shot.
Flat 6 to the longest boundary on the ground. Laurie Evans, of course, a plus handicap golfer. Teed it up,
breaks the shot.
and that's gone straight into the Charles turret.
Necessarily there, but he stayed in the shot.
Very impressive, and just exactly what Surrey need. Good momentum.
Fine shot.
Chris Wood then, very experienced death bowler, and he will be perhaps seeing us out here. Still got 2 to bowl.
Necessarily there, but he stayed in the shot.
Impressive, and just exactly what Surrey need.
Off the hit hard, but straight to the man. Joe Weatherly's not going to miss that. Another plan falls perfectly into place for Hampshire. They bowl to their fields, they set them cannily, and they very, very rarely deviate from the script. Tom Curran has to go.
Yeah, mean, that is the shorter side, and it's almost like a Rashid sort of helicopter shot, wasn't it? It was, you know, just didn't quite get all of it, and that's probably down to the pace of the wicket. Of course, Tom Curran only just got in. It's taken time, I think, for batters to get in on the wicket and get used to the pace of it. It's a good shot, but just coming up short on this occasion.
Yeah, a cutter into the pitch as well. Sorry, we've got to keep the faith here. So, Ollie Sykes, left-hander. Very good young player. Highly regarded here at the club. Just making his way in the game. He's away straight away. Harrying deep mid-wicket, but Laurie Evans says, no, leave it to me. So again, another cutter into the pitch, taking some pace off it. Hard to get away with a field set square and deep. Gets big on Laurie Evans, and he's okay, just drops shy. And so, false shot, but not a terminal one. Brings Sykes back onto strike. Laurie Evans just rehearsing that attempted pull. Only really got the one away, that sweep in the previous over. Needs a couple more here.
That's experience at early stage in his career. It's very, you know, to see Chris Wood trying to bowl when the batter isn't ready. Good that he pulled away.
Got all the tricks.
Yeah.
He is in now. Driven to mid-off and taken. That's an excellent grab. Scott Curry's had a good night. Been brilliant with the ball and very tidy there with the hands. Ollie Sykes comes and goes. Tiny bit unlucky.
Yeah, he's hit that well, just a little bit flat, couldn't quite get the elevation. Get another good catch from Hampshire, who've been good in the field tonight.
They have. Chris Jordan is herring out. He's already basically meeting Laurie Evans at the middle, and so Surrey are going to be desperate to just spirit a few big ones away here. 2.2 still to bowl, so 14 deliveries left of an innings that Hampshire have broadly dominated from start to finish. They edged the opening 6. They've been tight in the middle overs, and just with that one exception, the John Turner over that went for 22, although he did pick up Sam Curran from the 6th delivery of it, they've been immaculate. Chris Jordan's away with a quiet single.
Well, he's done the right thing to get Laurie Evans back on strike. I think the thing is, you're obviously looking for boundaries, but at the same time, you don't want to negate, you know, losing your shape, and you know, in doing so, you can pick up a dot ball or.
Playing a miss, well bowled. And so, 2 to go, 1-2-5 for 6. Hampshire doing it well.
Yeah, they're doing it very well. They've bowled exceptionally well for 18 overs. 4 wickets left for Surrey to hopefully get 20 from the last couple of overs. 1-4-5, I think, would be a reasonable return on what is not the quickest of wickets at the Oval here tonight.
Jordan skewed into the offside, but drops safe, and he'll pick up a couple.
Yeah, we've seen all evening. It's not straightforward to get boundaries here, but I do think a bit of room outside the off stump
फिर मुझे मेरे
potentially be rewarding for a backward square is a
The way he's getting
good place to go.
I like the fact that he's not happy with what happened earlier with
Hit hard and into the gap. Slapped hard by Chris Jordan. That's what they need.
He's played that well. As we've seen quite a few of the short balls this evening, they've sat in the wicket. Chris Jordan quick on it, pulled it with ease, flat and low, 4 more to the Surrey score.
Ten deliveries to go, 6 from 2 already in this over. So what's Curry got in response? That Jordan perhaps overhitting slightly, losing a touch of shape. So a useful dot at this stage. 131 for 6. That target of 150, as earmarked by Ali Brown, is still within reach.
I think it's definitely within reach. I mean, 9 balls left. You'd expect 140 as an absolute minimum,
losing a touch of
145
shape.
as a medium, and
So a useful
get a
dot
couple of
at
boundaries
this
away,
stage.
maybe more.
131 for 6. That target of 150. Inside edge onto the boot.
Earmarked by
He's
Ali
able
Brown,
to hobble
is
up
still within
to the
reach.
non-strikers for a single.
it's definitely within reach. I mean, 9 balls left. You'd expect 140 as an
slightly,
absolute minimum,
losing a touch of
145
shape.
as a medium. Chris Jordan obviously a size 10, if you didn't know. When I retired, I came back to get my kit, only to find that my shoes had gone missing. Chris Jordan had studied them up.
And that was that.
I never saw them again. No.
Cuffed away to the man on the offside boundary. Just another single then. Laurie Evans never been quite able to fully unfurl his range this evening. 26 from 21.
It's been difficult, hasn't it? There'll be some Surrey supporters probably thinking 133 at this stage is not enough, but it's certainly not a long way away from being short of the target required.
Airborne, high. Who wants it? There you go. Joe Weatherly picks up another. Make that 3 catches in the innings now. He's got good hands. Judges another one tidily, and Chris Jordan has to go. 7 down now, 133.
Yeah, good catch in the deep again, and we've seen with the size of the ground that actually, if you don't get all of it, there's fielders waiting there to pick you up, and that, along with the pace of the wicket, has been tricky for Surrey all evening. But 3 wickets to go, 1 over. Can Surrey get in the 140s, which I think will give them a reasonable chance?
So, Mitchell Santner, newly arrived at the club. Fabulous all-format New Zealand international. Fresh from the IPL, been doing good things from Mumbai out there, and it's one hell of a coup for Surrey to have picked him up. Fabulous left-arm orthodox spinner and a very useful lower-order bat. Going to beat Laurie Evans on strike. Chris Wood it is. And it will bring Mitchell Santner straight into the action. In fact, now they do come back for a couple, and they get it done. Rather errant throw.
Good running, though.
Everything must go at this point.
I think they'll be looking for 2 every ball if they can get it.
Yeah. So Evans retains the strike. Carves into the offside, but flat and hard, straight to long off. Slight misfield. No damage done for the visitors, just a single.
He's a bit unlucky, though. He's actually hit it too well to deep it off. If he hadn't hit it quite as well, he'd probably get back for 2. But I think Surrey, they know they need sort of 145, 150 to give them a good chance. They are targeting the boundaries, but if doing so, it can be difficult.
Santner then to face his first delivery in Surrey colours this year. Tidily played into the offside, but can't beat the man at deepish mid-off, who now pushes back to long on as the field spreads again. Everything Hampshire does makes sense. They're a very, very drilled and disciplined cricket team. Been around the block for years now. Developed as a unit, led brilliantly as well. Now that may well, in fact it does just creep inside the tram lines. Not sure Laurie Evans agrees.
Look good bowling, to be fair, live. I think they'll be targeting that. They know where they want to bowl. They've got the two fielders in that position, and they know exactly what Laurie will be trying to do.
Oh, it was marginal. 2 to go. Same slot, different result. Beautifully played, much needed.
Great shot, very well timed. 74 miles an hour, and he's hit that very well over extra cover. It's a long way out there. It's one of the largest parts of the ground.
Just free the hands. Always been very easy on the eye as Laurie Evans. He's a stylist, especially through that region, through the covers. One delivery to go. Can he just bring a bit more impetus into the mid-innings break? The answer is no. A dot ball to finish. Sums up Hampshire's discipline and Surrey's frustrations. Nonetheless, they do have a score on the board. 1-4-1 for 7. A couple of days ago against Glamorgan, they defended 1-4-9. So they know how to get it done. They certainly have the bowling attack, the versatility and variety in that bowling attack to get it done. Nonetheless, Hampshire will be very, very pleased with their evening's work in the field. They've been outstanding and disciplined and classy. So a quick run through the card. Dom Sibley and Ollie Pope got things going. Sibley looked good initially. Cleared the ropes in the second over, but then perished against the left-arm spin of Fortain. Caught round the corner for 13. Ollie Pope didn't really get going, in truth. Went for 11 to give Scott Curry his first of 2 wickets. Jason Roy and Sam Curran came together. Roy looked good for 37 before hitting one up to deep mid-wicket, and Joe Weatherly took the first of 3 catches in the outer. He went for 37. Sam Curran perhaps played the best innings of this card, 34 from 24, and just as he was really getting going against John Turner, he stuck a couple out the ground, one down the steps here at long on, and then he perished to John Turner. Turner picking that man up, and then Laurie Evans, 33 not out. Curran, Sykes and Jordan all perished 1, 1 and 8. Hampshire's bowlers, well, they dovetailed beautifully. Couple for Chris Wood, couple for Scott Curry, couple as well for John Turner, and a single wicket for the new man, Fortain, who bowled beautifully, I thought. His left-arm tweakers are going to be very useful for Hampshire with Liam Dawson otherwise engaged. OK, well, look, folks, stay with us. First of all, Surrey will be out before you know it. But just now, we've got a bit of fun for you. Ben Folkes and Dan Lawrence playing a game of Guess the Player's Rating with Cricket 24 on the Xbox. This is good fun.
Do you think each other will be happy with each other's scores?
I think you'll be happy with the eyes. They look fabulous.
They always do.
I think Cricket 24 doesn't like you or respect you as a cricketer. That's all I say.
Hey, what's up guys? Benny here, and today I'm joined by some of the stars of the Surrey County Cricket Club, Ben Folkes and Dan Lawrence. Thanks so much for joining us. Pro Teams has been added to Cricket 24, and we're going to be doing a blind ranking of your teammates. For those that are wondering how this is going to work, I'm going to be pulling out names at random, and once you place it on the board, you cannot move it. So if you put someone in thirds and someone else comes out, they can't be changed, all right? And also for you at home, there are going to be some awesome chances to win some great prizes, including a signed Surrey shirt, an Xbox Series S, and 12 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. To enter, all you have to do is put #ScoreMoreWithXbox in the comments. How you feeling?
Nervous. It's not the easiest thing to put someone smack bang last, one of your teammates. So we'll have to buy some coffee to make it up to people, I reckon.
First person we have is Will Jacks.
all come out hot.
Right, 1 to 11. Where do you think, and remember, this is his overall rating, right, in pro team.
What do you reckon? Should we slot him in at?
I think 4.
Slot him in at
Give us
4.
a little
Give
bit
you a bit
of wiggle room.
Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
4.
Right, so we'll put Will in 4th, all right? Chris Jordan.
I reckon we can slot CJ in at 5.
Tom Curran.
I think we fill up the middle
Fill up
first.
the middle?
Yeah,
6 or 7?
Put him at 6.
6.
Put him
Right,
at 6.
6, all right. Gus Atkinson.
It would be pretty tough after the last 12 months not to put him quite high up.
I agree, but I don't know, like, if Sam Curran comes flying out, he obviously takes up here.
I'm quite happy with Gus at 3.
Happy with the 3?
Yeah, shove him at 3.
Yeah, go on then, chuck him
We'll
3.
make some tough decisions later.
Next, Smith.
Sounds personal if I put him low, so I got probably 11, but he's like going to be one of the best players in the world quite soon, so I think he could slide at 2.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go
Right.
2.
J-Roy.
Is that one of England's best white ball players? But I mean, I'm reserving that if Sam Curran comes out of the pack.
Yeah, let's put him at 8.
8, yeah.
Let's put him at 8.
Ollie
Oh,
Pope.
Pope. Jeez, I forgot about Popey.
Oh, goodness gracious. Got to be 7.
I think he's got to go 7,
It's
and
gotta
then
be
we just
7.
got to bite
Right.
the bullet.
Pope in at 7.
Evans.
Another unbelievable player.
I think we need a little wiggle room at 9 still. I think 10.
Sorry, Loza.
You've got yourself.
I'm happy to take 11. That's a good, it's
Right,
a good
wait,
pack of players.
Straight down.
You said last 12 months as well, and it's not gone well for me, so stick me down there.
Get that in there.
We've got 2 more. And you've mentioned him a few times already.
Stick him in. Stick him in at the top.
Get him straight out.
He's
Right.
done some pretty good things.
Sam Curran, right at the top there. And then last, right, if you want to do the honours of
Yeah, we
putting
got
yourself on the board.
That in there. Yeah, and then Loza at number 1. There you go. No, I'd probably slot in. I'd probably slot in at 9.
Sadly,
there. Me at
rules.
9.
All right, so we've got your blind rankings, and now it is time for the reveal. We're going to work our way from the bottom to the top, but we're gonna leave you guys till last to see exactly where you are. So we're going to start with Evans. He's a 74 rated.
For what I reckon people would rate, 74 is fair.
Right, next, we got J-Roy. Right, what rating do you think?
77, I'm going to go.
Yeah,
77?
77, yeah, I think that's...
Oh, you undershot him. He's an 80.
Oh, he's an 80.
80.
Mr. Pope.
Popey, I mean, he's got to be 82 minimum, I would say.
It's actually an 88.
88.
88.
Jeez, sorry,
wow,
Popey.
we're miles off.
Did he help put the cards together, or what's
Hey,
going
it's
on?
from last year. Yeah, you put it borrowed. Got Tom Curran.
Early 80s? 82?
82.
Yeah, I don't mind 82.
You're very, very close.
83, yeah.
83.
83.
Chris Jordan.
It's just got to be the same, isn't it?
I would, yeah, I'm putting him 83 as
We'll go
well.
83.
He's an
81.
81. We got Jax.
We'll go 86 for Jaxie.
Go 86.
I can already tell based on this, he's going to be fuming.
Is it? No.
He's a 79.
Oh my.
He's like, you're
What a
like,
weight, what a weight.
just have to be above an 80. And he's got a 79.
And he can't whack it. He's 78 on the whacking. And he's going to take that terribly.
It's quite funny, though.
We've next got Gus.
Should we go 85?
I think it'd be higher. 87?
We'll meet in the middle. 86.
Bang. The
Hey,
first
there
one that
you
you've got
go.
on the money. 86.
There you go.
Smith.
For me, like, obviously he took my job. So if he's like a 98, then that makes me feel a lot better. The 12 months he's had, he's going to be really highly rated. But looking at the other scores, maybe an 85 or an 86 again.
All right, well, you actually hit it with
85, there you go.
85 rated.
85.
We've got the last 3.
The golden child at first and then us.
Sam Curran, do you think he is the highest rated?
Has to be.
I reckon he could be our first 90.
He's actually an 86. All right, I feel like the nicest way of doing this next one,
That means they're bad scores then.
I'm not going to show you. You're going to hold your own cards. Don't look,
Can I look at his?
right? All right, you can look at each other's. Do you think each
Really?
other will be happy with each other's scores?
I think you'll be happy with the eyes. They look fabulous.
They always do.
But I think your score, considering the board, I think Cricket 24 doesn't like you or respect you as a cricketer. That's all I say.
So based off of that,
Brilliant. I'm excited to have a look at this.
All right,
I reckon
10.
I'll be mid-70s.
77.
I'll take
See what I mean
that.
by the eyes, though?
Wow, yeah, good
Lovely.
mince pies.
Piercing.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. It's very respectable.
All right, now Ben, what are you thinking?
Probably a 76.
76.
76.
That's being very humble.
Am
Have
I
a
higher
look.
than 76?
Have a look. You're actually
Ah,
an
82.
82.
So you think I'm better than Loz?
Let's have a look at your...
I feel like the only thing I'm known for is the 69, which is kind of puts my career into a bit of a bad place, but oh well. They've clearly never seen me bowl as a youngster.
All right, so this is your blind rankings. This is the actual order. All right, and boom, that is the actual setup of all the rankings. Do you think everyone's going to be happy with their scores?
yeah, it's obviously a brilliant 11. I'd be pretty happy walking out on the field with that team.
Yeah, and thank you so much for joining us for this. And remember, if you want a chance of winning a signed Surrey shirt, an Xbox Series S, and 12 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, put hashtag #ScoreMoreWithXbox down in the comments. Thanks for joining us so much, boys.
No worries, thank you.
Welcome back to the Kia Oval, where Hampshire require 142 to beat Surrey. That Surrey first innings never really got going, bar one Sam Curran assault on John Turner, where he took 21 runs in and over. It was a stop-start innings for the home side. They have a real mission at the start of the second innings, defending just 142. They'll start with Dan Worrell, armed with that new ball. He'll start with 2 slips, bowling to Albert and Vince. Really important for Surrey that they start well here, don't have too many runs to play with. Worrell into Albert. Dropped at second slip. Genuine edge. It carried. It's a trademark Worrell away swinger. Draws the edge. Creates the chance. But Jason Roy unable to cling on to it.
I love the way they started with 2 slips. Could potentially have gone with 2 hands. I think you thought it might be a bit wider. But and that's the first time we've seen shape. We didn't see, with Hampshire, we didn't see too much shape. But we know what Dan Worrell can produce. And that's a great start. Even though it's gone down, it's a very good start for Surrey.
Looks like we might have a delay here. Jason Roy clearly in pain. Looks like he'll continue though. Ollie Pope donning the gloves. Here's Worrell again, this time into Vince. There's that shape again from Dan Worrell. Very different start to the start of the Surrey innings.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen it all day. I mean, Hampshire bowled great lines, but very straight. And Dan Worrell, he's got plenty of shape there, which is a great start for Surrey. There is potentially a rain around the corner, we think. So the first 5 or 6 overs could be crucial.
Driven firmly from Vince, who gets off the mark with a quick single. Ali, what do you make of the first innings and Surrey's score of 141? Slightly less than they'd have hoped for, but you don't think massively under par?
I think 145, 150. I know sometimes you talk about Surrey as a 160, 170 ground, but the size of it would bring that down, as would the pace of the wicket today. Love the fact that Surrey has started aggressively, 2 slips in there, and they'll know they need early wickets.
Yeah, a lot of rain overnight too, so the outfield not quite as rapid as it normally is.
But from a batter's perspective, the first few overs, when it does swing, you've probably got 3 or 4 overs where you can get some really good swing out of it, and someone of Dan Worrell's class is going to get more than probably anyone. He's been outstanding for not just this year, but for quite a few years. And as I said, it's great to see a bit of shape outside that off stump.
Albert on strike in good form, scored a 50 in their first game. Cloths it as he tries to pull a slightly shorter delivery from Warren into the leg side, but it falls safely. Yeah, Albert 54 of 34 against Essex's Hampshire scored 230 for 7 from their 20 overs in an emphatic win in their opening fixture. Vince, fresh from the PSL, where he had a really good campaign batting a lot with David Warner, actually. Hit 62 off 31 up top. Slight change in the field here. Second slip's come out, Ali.
Yeah, I mean, James Vince is a fantastic driver of the ball. Occasionally he does nick the odd one. He's a good puller of the ball as well, but it'll be a good battle.
Oh, it's a delicious shot from Vince. A little bit of width. Throws his hands at it. And that's the first boundary of the Hampshire response.
Very well timed. Very classy shot through the offside. Just a fraction of width and dispatched. That's a very good shot.
James Vince, one of the players on show today who you would have played against, Ali.
Yeah, I did play against him when I was playing for Notts. I think he was just about making his debut. He came, and I know he drove really well that day. I think he scored 90. He's a good puller, good hooker. And I think sometimes, the one thing he does do is occasionally drive loosely outside the off stump, which will be a positive for Surrey today, but that was a little bit short of a length, and he's on that in a flash. He's a huge player for them. If Surrey get James Vince out, I think that'll be the key wicket for me.
Tom Corrin to start from the pavilion end. Sibley's in at first slip. It's a good start though from the Surrey Seamers.
One thing I would say is that anything short has sat a bit, isn't it? I mean, I know James Vince has played that incredibly well through extra cover, but anything short, we saw Dom Sibley pulling for 6 early on, and it just sort of holds a little bit. So I think you've got to be a fraction fuller. Target the stumps, try and get people driving on a slower wicket, because where you can defend is when you've got your mid on, mid off. That's where you want to get hit.
Extra fielder on the offside in front of square for Vince, catching extra cover. Tucked into the leg side. They'll think about 2, but there'll just be 1. What did you make of that Hampshire performance with the ball?
I thought they were very disciplined. They didn't bowl, especially their first 10 overs. I thought they bowled wicket to wicket. They didn't bowl too full when they did get driven. So driven to mid on, mid off. That's on slower wickets. Sometimes that's frustrating because you time it quite well, but it doesn't quite beat the fielders, especially if mid and off sit a bit deeper, which of course here they are as well. But I thought they bowled very well.
Oh, squares him up. Beats the outside edge of Albert. We've seen good carry today as well. A few balls really fly through. That's another one from Curran.
If you get the right length, you will get some carry through. I think if you go a bit shorter, that's where it sort of sits a little bit, but that's a very good ball.
A bit of early shake from Curran as well. Given the new ball by his brother Sam. Very, very early move to squat down low from Albert to try and get the ball above short fine leg and short third.
Well, it's a good shot if you can get it, but it's proved harder today than on quicker wickets. I think where the bounce is even truer. Sometimes maybe a little bit too paced this wicket, with the odd ball just sitting, and that makes it harder. But with swing as well, which is certainly a positive for Surrey. They'll know they need wickets. I think if they don't get wickets in the first 5 or 6 overs, it'll be harder. But all shaping nicely, and it's a good position.
Yeah, he didn't get bat on it, but that attempted scoop did change the Surrey field. Fine leg went back onto the boundary. As a batter, when you get the sense that the pitch might be a little bit too paced, what do you do differently? Are there particular shots that you put away in your locker?
Well, the hack can go. I think it's important to keep your shape more than ever and let the ball come to you, which isn't always easy, especially when it is a bit slower.
Albert gives himself a bit of room. Gets it over extra cover. Doesn't totally get hold of it, so it's only 2 rather than 4. 4 runs from Curran's first over. Hampshire 11 without loss.
The thing about it is if you keep hitting mid on and mid off and you keep getting dot balls, that puts the pressure on you to try and find that boundary, and sometimes in doing so you try and look for it too much, and that's when you lose your shape and a little bit of your form. So It's about trying to let it come to you, not be too greedy. And that's why I think if Hampshire are clever, that they'll try and pick where 1s and 2s are if they can keep rotating strike. But the positive for Surrey would be wickets, if they can pick up a couple of wickets, and that'll chew balls and get the run rate up, which is what Surrey will need.
No surprises to see Worrell continue from the Vauxhall end. Tom Curran's in really close at a catching cover. Bit of shape again from Worrell.
I do like the field though. They'll know that James Vince is a very good driver. The slip being in, I know Hampshire got rid of their slips early, but then they weren't getting much shape and they were bowling potentially straighter. So I like the fact that Dom Sibley is at first slip. Could easily bring another chance, but the swing will dissipate over the next 3 or 4 overs.
Short third's gone a bit finer. Vince gets off strike. Yeah, I think Hampshire also, they bowled really well to their fields, and quite often when you're assessing how a bowler's going in a T20, you can't really make a judgment off a single ball in isolation, because what they're doing is bowling to the field, bowling to the dimensions.
I think it's easier for Hampshire knowing what the target is. I think when Surrey lost the toss and were inserted, they weren't sure. They were finding out for the first 5 or 6 overs what that good score was, and that good score was probably lower than they thought it might be at the time.
Worrell started with 2 slips to Albert, but now they're both out into the ring. Short third's gone even finer.
I think it's a good field. You could see a catch being an extra cover, because we have seen that the odd ball, especially in Surrey's first innings, the odd ball was stopping. James Vince will like to drive, but if it just does hold a bit, then Tom Curran's certainly in the game.
Doesn't get hold of it, but it falls safely. It's another single for Albert. Yeah, you've got 3 fielders on the offside for Surrey who are really close to each other. From Sibley at point to Curran at cover. Different field for Vince.
And the reason not many of those balls have penetrated the offside is because when you've got more pace, you can give yourself room and create that and go square. Because the pace hasn't quite been there, that's given the fielders enough time to either get a hand on it, or it's gone straight to the fielder.
Cover drops 5 or so yards. And that's pulled in front of square on the leg side, and that'll be 4.
Another good shot. James Vince holds his position very well, and it's probably the right way to go to go across the swinging ball. You can kind of go with it, and you won't pick up a lot of value, but he's playing very well, holds that position well, and it's a very good shot, well controlled.
I suppose from a length perspective as well, Worrell's getting that shape, but he's not really attacking the stumps. He's been keeping the ball slightly outside off stump. Oh, that's a beautiful delivery from Dan Worrell. Play that. It ends the third over. Hampshire 17 without loss.
It's the perfect ball, but I think James Vince is hunting length. He wants Dan Worrell to bowl a fraction shorter, and if he can, he's played that, because the ball he hit through the leg side, he hit really well, but if he can just get length, he might be able to clear, and he gets hold of it, and he can clear mid-wicket, and he might get maximum, but it's very difficult when Dan Worrell's still swinging the ball like that.
Does it matter what you're supposed to do to that ball?
Not much. Just nod and say, well bowled. There's not a lot you can do. I mean, I think when Dan Worrell actually bowls well, he's you'll have times where you could almost be unplayable. And I played a game at Notts for Surrey against Paul Rifle on a wicket that did a bit, and I found him almost impossible to get the bat on at times.
On a pitch like this, when par might be 15 or so less than it might normally be, do you think there's an advantage in being the side that bats second? Because you see here Albert, he's not raced out the blocks, but there's no urgency as such, because they know they're only chasing 140.
Well, there is a bit of urgency. He tried the lap, and he knows that if they just, if Surrey get through the power play at around about a run a ball, they'll be very happy with that, because then the fielders go out and you can defend that. Mitch Santner to come in and bowl, I think, who will be very good. So we've seen swing to start with, and I love the fact that they've kept going with that, which is really good. But as I said, it's the sort of thing when if they pick up one wicket, and then you're likely to see spin come on pretty soon, because it's difficult to attack spin straight away when you come in, and I think that's where the squeeze could come. We're currently at almost 7.5 and over, and I think if you can just get a wicket, be it a nick or a mistimed shot, and then you'll see a bit of Mitch Santner, I would imagine. You could squeeze it up to 8 and 9, and I think if you get up in those numbers, that'll be difficult to chase.
Curran pulls out of the delivery at the last moment. Yeah, it's a good point. The required run rate. Sorry, haven't picked up a breakthrough yet, but that required run rate would have started at pretty much bang on 7. It's now approaching 7.5 runs and over. They scamper through for another quick single.
But they'll be happy with that. Surrey will be happy with singles. I said they're going past the outside edge. James Vince has played some very good shots, but it's been hard work, and we've seen that for both sides. I'd be happy. I know Surrey haven't had their early wicket yet, but they certainly had a chance to get that, and I think more may come.
Well, always a good indication of where a chasing team is at is what they are, where they are compared to the DLS par score. That'll help Hampshire. Albert gives himself a little bit of room and manages to pierce the offside field. He moves into double figures. Hampshire 23 without loss.
Just a fraction wide and a fraction of width. He gave himself a bit of width, but just a little bit fuller. And as I said, that's the area. If you can go square of the wicket, that's where you're going to get your full value. You've only got to break the infield and across those the square there, which is probably the quickest place to get it. You're going to get full value for your shots.
DLS par score 20 at this point. Hampshire 23 without loss. Oh, that's interesting. Albert, we saw in the previous over against Curran, went very early to get in position for the ramp. This time he potentially went even earlier, and Curran said, no, I'm going to go again.
If you're on Albert's shoes, are you going to play that same shot again?
I think he just goes, to be fair, actually. Look at the
he's held on to that, because he's very close to releasing that.
Pace off from Curran. We saw Hampshire go pace off for a lot of the Surrey innings. They defended the longer boundary towards the gas holder side of the ground very, very well.
I think that's key to the chase, actually. Can Surrey defend the Ken Barrington stand sort of corner, which is, what are we talking there, 45, 50 yards tops?
Vince looks to give himself a bit of room, but Curran follows him, pulls it into the leg side, picks up a single. 8 runs from that over. Hampshire 25 without loss.
An even start. I think Surrey would be happy with that. If they picked up a wicket or two, they'd be really happy with that. They haven't got away, and that run rate, I said, just takes one wicket, and 7.31 will quickly go up to 7.5 and almost 8. As I said, it's Hampshire keep wickets in hand and don't lose anything, then they can continue at the same sort of rate. But a wicket will bring a squeeze and a change here at this end.
Nathan Smith armed with a white ball for the first time here at the Kia Oval. He's gone well in the first 2 games of the season so far. None for 26 from his 4 against Somerset at Taunton, and 2 for 21 from his 3 against Glamorgan. Here he is to James Vince. That's a lovely shot from James Vince. Timed it so well, no more than a push into the offside, and that's run away to that long boundary, 4-4.
His timing's been imperious so far, hasn't it? And I think he's just not overhitting. He's just standing, waiting there, his head's in a good position, and he's just lent on that. And that's a slightly lusher side of the ground as well.
There was no follow-through, no flourish at all in that shot. Pure timing from Vince.
Yeah, a man in form.
Smith tucks in for room this time.
I think that's what Hampshire did well though. They gave no room, did they? There was just pretty much straight And so that's where they were getting hit. And I think that's the difference. Tom Curran getting hit in the last over through extra cover, just a fraction of room, and of course Albert just giving a bit more. And you don't need much. And as I said, if you can beat that infield, you'll get value for your shots.
Forecast was saying earlier that we might get some rain at some point in the Hampshire Run Chase. A reminder that once we get 5 overs in, we have a result. So that's why I brought up the DLS par score in the previous over. If Hampshire do not lose a wicket, all they need is 27 runs to be ahead of Surrey. They're obviously on 30.
Just looking out to the Clapham side, which is where it's coming from, it doesn't look too bad at this moment. I know there is potentially something coming, but it doesn't look too bad for the next 3 or 4 overs. Having said that, I'm looking down there. I can see 4 umbrellas up.
I think we're blinded by the stand here from where it's really coming from. I also have totally lost trust in all the weather apps over the last few days. Perhaps aware of the weather to come, Hampshire just content with turning over the strike at the moment, because that DLS par score will change if Surrey take a wicket. Hampshire currently 5 runs ahead of Surrey.
We didn't need weather apps when I was at Notts. We had Dave Hussey. He'd look out the window and he knew when it was coming in.
Short ball pulled aerially as well, but it'll land safely. Albert will come back for 2. Decent over for Hampshire. 9 from it. They're 34 without loss, and crucially 7 runs ahead of the DLS par score. 1 over of the power play remaining. So for viewers who might not have watched a lot of limited overs cricket before, that DLS par score is essentially what you need to be ahead in the game if the game ends there and then. Don't ask me how it's calculated, but we trust it. As you can see, umbrellas going up around the ground. And down as well. Skipper Sam Curran brings himself on. Final over of the power play. No slips. 2 men out on the leg side. Attempted Yorker. And Vince turns out round the corner and picks up 4. Just evades a diving man at short fine leg.
Yeah, just a fraction for it. Just got a little bit of bat on it, and that's evaded Dan Worrell at short fine leg. Another welcome boundary for Hampshire.
And that required run rate that was at around about 7.5 runs and over 10 or so minutes ago, back down to where it was at the start of the innings. 7.01 runs per over required for the visitors. Vince gives himself room again. No one out on the offside, so you can see what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's done everything right there, apart from hit it. He's given himself a bit of room. It's something that Surrey didn't really target that area now, and they've changed in the field as we speak. But to cope with that, but it's an area that probably Surrey didn't target as much as they could have done.
Genuine edge from Vince, but no slips alongside Ollie Pope behind the stump, so it runs away for 4. In truth, if there were slips, it would have gone wide of them. Frustrating over from a Surrey point of view. 2 boundaries to Vince already. The second one not entirely convincing.
just working that way. He's got plenty of time, hasn't he, James Vince? He knows what he's trying to do. He knows where the gaps are. I know that previous 4 was a little bit streaky, but yeah, he's just looked more at ease on this wicket than anyone else, I think.
It's a very, very classy player. He's done it for so long, and still in his mid-30s, one of the most in-demand T20 batters on the circuit. Short and pulled hard from Albert, and it's a misfield. It's gone for 4. It's not what Surrey needed. Young Sykes on the boundary. 3rd boundary of the over. Not ideal.
Not ideal, but there are captains in the past at Surrey that would have been a bit harsher than Ian Gregg for one.
That's very short, and that'll be given wide. Not happening for Surrey at the moment. 14 runs from this over, the final one in the power play. If it were to rain, that DLS pass score, by the way, 32. So Hampshire miles ahead at this stage.
The umbrellas have gone away. It's looking darker. To be fair, it's coming over a little greyer at the time.
That's one of those super slower balls that Sam Curran's added to his repertoire recently. It's another fumble in the deep from Sykes, and it allows Albert to come back for 2. That brings up the 50 for Hampshire. They need 92 more to win. We've got a change in the commentary box. Phil joins me for the first time in the second innings.
Evening, Yaz. The rain is beginning to make its mark on this cricket match, I'm afraid. Surrey's time is almost done here. The wheels have begun to fall off the car, and Hans are doing this with ease. 50 for no loss, well ahead of the DLS, and it feels rather forlorn out there, in truth. The crowd are sticking with it. Hardy souls, not too many umbrellas, but as we can see on our screen, it is starting to drizzle, and it was due. These weather maps have been telling us to run for cover, in truth, really. So it's going to be Mitchell Santner. Can he possibly pull a couple of rabbits out the hat here and just change the permutations? A couple of quick wickets does change the DLS number, but they need more than a couple. They're on 51 and the DLS pass score is 34. So they need something special here, the home side. And they need to get something going quickly. Beautifully bowled. Definite purchase and turn.
Phil, you recently described Mitchell Santner's bowling style as being comparable to that of a penalty taker in a football match.
Yeah, if you watch, he pauses right there. He waits to see what the batter's going to plan to do. As soon as the batter shows his hand, then Santner adjusts accordingly. Like Dom Solanke behind a penalty. Just waits and waits and waits and waits. Waits for the keeper to move and then slots it the other side. Very good signing for Surrey, this. It's going to be a very useful servant for them this summer.
Yeah, like Fortain for Hampshire, Santner's got an amazing career T20 record. Career economy rate of just 7.06 runs per over in T20 cricket. He's played in the Blast before for Worcestershire.
Tosses that one up. Toby Albert clips it into the offside. It's all very straightforward for Hampshire at the moment. Surrey have to play desperate cricket and they have to keep out there. They have to rush through their overs and hope that something dramatic happens between now and the point at which perhaps they have to shake hands on a rain out. They are running through their overs as they have to do. The big problem they face comes in the form of James Vince, though, who is just imperious. He's been on a different plane to everyone else on show tonight. 31 from 22.
It's getting a bit heavier, Phil.
Yeah.
But what I would say, having watched the women's game earlier, that the bar at which they go off in T20 cricket is quite a lot higher, I feel, than it is in the Championship. It was genuinely quite heavy for portions of the Hampshire run chase. You could see the Surrey bowlers struggling with a wet ball at times.
4-day cricket's a long time though, isn't it? You know, you do need a breather. You see it coming on the radar around East Sussex, then we pootle off. This game is going to run on here. James Vince, 31 from 22, facing up to Dan Worrell, brought back into the attack. Vince just waits on the back foot, caresses it into the space. That back foot shot, just to get himself going earlier in the piece, shot of the day. Just leans on it, stands tall. Just a beautiful batter.
We're used to seeing people in the flats by the gas holder watching.
Over the other side now, of the school.
Do we have a few members of staff?
Got to run hard here. Oh, that would have been tight. Chris Jordan, lethal in the covers, but can't take down that off stump, and so Vince fights on. 57 for no loss, nothing going Surrey's way.
Yeah, very ambitious quick single there. Trying to pinch one to one of the best fielders in the land. Jordan got to it quickly, got rid of it quickly, but couldn't quite get the direction of the throw right. Nothing going Surrey's way, Phil.
No. Every marginal seems to go against them here. But Hampshire were brilliant with the ball and deserve all the plaudits, I think. Vice-like grip on this cricket match right from the start. Their command of length in particular on this pitch was immaculate, I think. They've got some quicks that can slip it. Playing a miss this time. Vince slightly loose outside off stump. A couple of missed cut shots in this innings. That's all priced in, of course.
It's genuinely quite heavy. Looking around the ground, people trying to find a bit of cover.
Yeah, Worrell turns again. Surrey very mindful of the permutations here. The only way that can save them is wickets, and quickly. Crowd seem to sense it as well. There's a murmur and a burble around the place now. This game is edging away from the hosts.
It does make me wonder why we don't stay out for longer in the Championship.
Don't start, yes. Get much of it, James Vince, but we'll pick up a single. Vast expanses in the onside, and so another one ticks by. This is all Hampshire. 58 for no loss. 8 overs gone. Run rate very manageable. 7 from here. DLS not a problem for them. There they are. Yes.
Are they the teachers? I don't know. On top of the school next door. What a view that must be. A couple of quietly decent overs from Surrey, just 8 runs from the last 2 overs. Santner from the Vauxhall end, Worrell back at the Pavilion end. But they need wickets. Santner fresh back from the IPL, where he was involved in the playoffs with Mumbai Indians. The New Zealand white ball captain these days.
So we're ready to go. Can he pluck a rabbit out of the hat here? Floats that one up, but Vince gets outside the line and single off the pad. They'll take some stopping this year, I fancy, New Hampshire. They bat deep as well. They've recruited brilliantly. Brevis is a world star, halfway there already. That's cut away behind square, and that's beautifully timed. Toby Albert pick up another boundary. Width and just a tiny bit too full.
Yeah, he waited on it really well. Tossed up from Santner, slightly slower, but he waited and waited and waited to ensure he got that behind square. And it looks like we're off, folks. The umpires have come together in the middle. They've had a quick chat and decided this is probably too heavy. And looking around the ground now,
it's a fair comment.
It is hosing it down.
Yeah, it's pelting it. So we can have no complaints. We sensed it might be around 8:30 that it was due to come in. And Hampshire, everything has gone their way. They won the toss. It was an easy decision to put Surrey in. Vice-like grip across the whole of Surrey's innings, and they have just ambled really to 63 for no loss. Well in advance of the past score, 15 in advance of DLS as we stand. And so with 8.2 overs done of this innings, and the ground staff hurriedly pulling on the covers, Surrey's fieldsmen are loitering on the outfield, as is the norm for a team that is desperate to stay out there, and you can understand why. But for Hampshire's batters, they are already back in the sanctuary of the dressing room, where they hope, in truth, they will stay for the rest of the duration of this evening. We will, of course, be back as soon as we have some positive news. You won't miss a ball, you won't miss a moment. But until then, we're going to have a break. Albert on 28 and James Vince dominating the show on 33.